Good morning. How are you? Good to see you. I think I need the cord, please, sweetie. Good to see you guys. It is Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. That must mean that we are going to talk about insulin resistance. That's kind of how that works. Oh, I just made a huge mess. I'm sorry. Don't pay attention to me and the noise going on in the background. I'm just plugging in my computer so that we have a little bit of juice going on. Good morning, Terry. Good to see you. Very, very good to see you as always. So how is everybody doing so far? We are about, let's see here, in the United States, we are 9 days away from Thanksgiving. It's coming so fast. It's so fast. It's crazy pants. But nonetheless, that's actually very exciting. It's always nice just to take a day off with your family and to have some, and then so I'm in Minnesota. We always, almost always end up somewhere on Thanksgiving weekend at the Mall of America. Why would you not end up at the Mall of America? The people watching is spectacular. And, it's not even about the deals because the deals aren't that great anymore. Good morning, Carol. Good to see you. The deals are not that exciting anymore. I mean, is it just me? But anyway, but the people watching and just walking around and everything is decorated for Christmas and everything is getting ready. And it's just so much fun. Good morning, Magda. Good to see you. Very, very good to see you. So let's see. Last night we wrapped up the last installation of the book, Self-Sabotage No More, in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And next Monday night, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, we will have Jenny Potter, the author, in the book. So it's Thanksgiving week. What an amazing opportunity to go into your Thanksgiving, to go into your official holiday season that potentially inside of you feels a little hard to navigate. Maybe you're thinking I just don't know how I'm going to do this year. I'm just going to cross my fingers and wish upon a star that I can do well. You don't have to do that. You can actually get tools in your toolbox and it's free. It's freaking free to jump in and to just take advantage of somebody else who has, in her book, right, that we went through, story after story after story of her having to get rid of her own unprocessed emotions about things and being able to move forward. And she's teaching you how to do it. So it's really cool. So anyway, that's next Monday night. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I have going on that I need to announce. I don't think so. I think we're good to go this morning. I'm going to actually talk to you guys about testing today. And even though this is not really my wheelhouse, meaning I don't come to the table with, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a pharmacist. But what I did do was I did a little bit of research because I know that you guys, if you're on my content, number one, you either know or you think that you are insulin resistant. Number two, if you've heard any of my stories, you know how basically I was gestational diabetic with my first baby and hypoglycemic with my second. I wasn't told anything about how that would potentially affect my future towards type 2 diabetes. And I have a lot of you that reach out to me and go, wait a minute, I was gestational diabetic too. It never dawned on me that that was a precursor to anything that was potential. Okay. And then number three, we feel like we are very beholden to the matrix and what they only can give us in terms of testing and telling us stuff. But the problem is that they have failed us grandly. They have so failed us because they're not even giving us the tests that could help us at the early onset of things. It's so ridiculous. It's so silly. It's so lame sauce. It is so lame that here we could be having insulin because your insulin is a hormone. And you could be insulin resistant for years, you guys, before it shows up in your blood glucose. But the only thing that they're doing is giving us blood glucose. It's just so silly. And this is not a terminal diagnosis. That's why I come on here every day and talk to you guys about targeted supplementation and changing out your food ingredients. Targeted supplementation and changing out your food ingredients. It's either easy or it's not. I choose easy. This is super easy. Two things I teach. Two things. And you can make great gains and take great ground just with those two things. it's astonishing to me that we are not taught this. Like this could be posted, inside of the bathroom stalls in the rest areas, and everybody would be able to get it and implement it. It's super easy. So what I want to do today is I thought, you know what, I'm going to talk about the tests that you could be asking for or getting done on your own without a doctor. So you could just know stuff for yourself, right? Because that's kind of how important this is. So let me just start here at the very beginning. And if you guys probably know more than I do in some of these areas. So we'll just collectively have this conversation. How does that sound? I think my Instagram is being weird again today. So if you're on my Instagram, you just, if you ask me a question or you comment and I don't see it, I can see things are looking different on Instagram today. That happens sometimes. And then some of y'all like jump over to my Facebook. So if you didn't know, I'm on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all at the same time. So if you don't like one platform, you can go to another platform. And it just makes it so that wherever you live, mostly, you can do that. And if you're on TikTok, the reason why I put this here, there's just a little graphic right there, is because then you can see where it's underlined over there. That's the IG portal. Because I can't send certain things on TikTok. And if you're looking for number one testimonies of like the trio, the 3 supplements that help with insulin sensitivity, you're looking to contact me, you want to message me, get inside of my inbox, you want to do whatever, jump over, like just portal over, just shuttle right over. And at the top of my Instagram page, there's a pink highlight bubble, and you can read all of the testimonies of the trio. So that's just for you. Claudette, good morning. How are you doing? It's good to see you. Good to see you. I'm thinking about Florida today. I literally was. I'm not even kidding. I was doing a little bit of writing this morning and reading and writing. And Florida was in the conversation. I just really love Florida. Anyway, okay, I digress. Everybody's got dreams that they want to accomplish, right? I want to take my family. I really loved the resort that we stayed at in Orlando. It was the Omni Resort in Orlando. It was spectacular. It was really nice. It had a lot of really good amenities. And I just kept saying to my husband, golly, this would be such a great place for our family to come because it has all of the different swimming areas for the little kids, but then it also has all of the golfing areas for the big kids. So it has an 18 hole, you can see where my brain is, 18 hole, a 9 hole, a top golf. I mean, it has everything. And the food was spectacular. So there you go. Lisa, you did connect. You said that your doctor did tell me that later on in life that you are high risk of getting diabetes. What does your shirt say? My shirt. Lisa, you're adorable. It says, I am full of grace, grit, and no quit. And then it says, Proverbs 31:25. Grace, grit, and no quit. So there you go. Anyway, all right. You're so cute, Lisa. All right, here we go. So the role, no. Hold on. Let me get my stuff together here. Okay, so why does testing for insulin resistance even matter? Most of you you've never even heard that you could test for insulin resistance, just like me. Like we're all kind of a little in the dark, aren't we? We're all kind of going, well, what do you mean there's a fasting insulin test? And midlife well-being. So thank you. I love that. Thank you. Thank you for being on. I appreciate you. Anybody on TikTok, if you would tap the screen, like that's how we get it out onto the FYP, because otherwise the information doesn't get proliferated. So, but why testing for insulin resistance matters? So insulin resistance is like your body struggling. We talked about this yesterday, but let's just remind you, it's struggling to use the key, like a door key, to unlock energy from your blood sugar. If left unchecked, it can lead to weight gain. Anybody, just me, fatigue, diabetes, and more. So insulin resistance not being paid attention to is so frustrating. Thank you for the share. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Why is it important? Because many people don't realize that they're insulin resistant. We're just walking around, do. We don't even know until we have serious health problems. Why is this the system? Why? Why are we made to wait? It doesn't make any sense. So now we have to take it and put it back into our own court, become our own advocate, take back our own body. We got to do it on our own, people. So we're going to hook arms and we're going to do it together collectively, okay? So testing helps catch it early so you can take control of your health before it spirals. So what are you looking for? You're looking for blood sugar and insulin levels that signal your body is overworking to manage energy. So do you remember yesterday we were talking about the analogy of insulin is the delivery truck and it's going to pick up the glucose and put it into a storage unit. It's literally just transporting your glucose into your cell for energy. And so when it can't do that anymore because the door is jammed, the door is broken, and it can't get the glucose into the cell anymore, you're exhausted, thus the fatigue. Then you have rising insulin and rising sugars. And when your insulin and sugars are high, you can't lose weight, thus the weight gain. Okay, so that's why everything is so connected in that arena. And then, of course, over a long period of time, high sugars just turns into type 2 diabetes. Other symptoms are PCOS, gout, dementia, high blood pressure, like just keep going. Every script that's connected, they put you on one script, usually MET. Then they say, oh, you need an HBP script. Then they say you need an STATIN script. Then they give you an anti-sadness script because of the STATIN, makes you SAD. I mean, this is the cycle, right? This is the cycle. Yeah. So here we go. You're looking for your blood sugar and your insulin levels that signal your body is overworking. Signs of inflammation and stress that show your metabolism is out of balance. Okay. So there are two things. Your blood sugar is only one piece of the puzzle. And this is the piece that comes last. So why are we not testing this one that comes first, which is your insulin? Why? This one says, long before your sugars are high, you have insulin that's rising, because it's trying to take care of the sugar. It's trying to shuttle it. The delivery trucks are like creating a traffic jam over here. And they're trying to get the glucose into the storage units. And you have a blocked highway is what you have going on inside of your body. So one of the simple tests to understand your health a little bit better would be a fasting blood glucose. So this does show your baseline blood sugar. This is oftentimes what they are doing first, which in my opinion should be done second, but that's okay. I mean, in this analogy of where we're going with this, it shows your baseline blood sugar level after 8 hours of no food. So I want to make sure you have some ideal ranges so that you can jot things down. So grab a pen because again, I'm not a doctor or a pharmacist, so I am not privy to the background understanding of all of these pieces, but you can be, okay, for yourself. So fasting blood sugar, blood glucose, your ideal range after 8 hours of fasting, no food, would be 70 to 90. The lower end is better, 70 to 90. Now, remember, when you wake up in the morning and you have high blood sugar levels and they're constantly high in the mornings, that's called dawn phenomenon. You never knew until exactly you're put on metformin. Frustrating. I know. That's what happened to you. Yep. It is very frustrating. And we're all kind of stuck in this. We think that there's only one option and the option is the matrix. And I'm here to tell you that we are actually our best advocates for ourselves. We have to wake up and become our own best advocates. And as women, listen, you're good, Lisa. Have a fantastic, terrific day. Good to see you. When we were in adolescence, girls, do you remember when we were like, we got our period, we're 13 years old, and we are like super becoming in tune to our body? Somewhere along the way, we lost that. We handed over our intuition to providers that did not give us good information. They give us really trash information. So we have to go back to just being more intuitive about our own bodies again. And we can do it, and it's not that hard. We just have to wake up a tiny bit, okay? So here we go. So fasting blood sugar, glucose, 70 to 90. Hemoglobin, that's your A1C. This reflects your average blood sugar over 2 to 3 months. A lot of you are doing your A1C, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's giving you an average answer over that period of time. And so that your ideal range is 4.8 to 5.4. So you can jot that down, 4.8 to 5.4. Anything above 5.7 is concerning. So if you've always wondered, where your A1C should be, there you go. 4.8 to 5.4. Anything over 5.7 is concerning. Then fasting insulin. Now, this one, in my opinion, should be the first one that gets done. This is the one that rarely gets called for. Measures how much insulin your body needs to keep your blood sugar stable. And the ideal range is less than 5. Lower is better. Less than 5, lower is better. And then the last one that they're recommending is a HOMA-IR, homeostatic model assessment. Combines fasting glucose and fasting insulin to measure insulin resistance. So that's taking both the glucose and the insulin test and putting them together. And it's called the HOMA, HOMA-IR. And it stands for homeostatic model assessment. Combining your glucose and your fasting insulin to measure resistance. And your ideal score is below 1. Okay? Below 1. Then you have inflammation and metabolic stress markers. You can also do those. They give a bigger picture of how insulin resistance is impacting your body. So you can have your triglycerides to HDL ratio. So just your triglycerides, only taking one number is not, oftentimes, I'm not going to go there. You're looking at the ratio, which indicates how well your body is handling fat. Ideal is less than 2 to 1. 2 to 1 ratio. Triglycerides to HDL ratio. High sensitivity C-reactive protein, which is an HS-CRP. It's measuring your inflammation. So if you've had your inflammation measured and you know you have high inflammation in your body, which is super common when you're insulin resistant because insulin is inflammatory, you want ideal for the HS-CRP less than 1 milligrams, less than 1. Okay, so where do you get these tests without a doctor? How do you do this? Like, we think we have to go to the doctor, we have to talk them into giving us a test, etc. Here are some options that you may not have known about. So go ahead and write these down if you're wanting to get some tests on your own. I actually think these are super interesting and I might just do them myself. Everlywell, EVERLYWELL, Everlywell offers your A1C, your fasting glucose, and other tests. Number 2, Let's Get Checked. It's all kind of in one name, like there's no spaces. Let's Get Checked. It includes fasting insulin, glucose, and lipid panels. You guys, this is super interesting. I get it, right? You're like, but my insurance might not cover that. It's out of pocket. Yep. It's called designed that way, right? Just saying. When you prioritize your own investment, it's the same thing with supplementation that I talk about all the time. It's our reality. It's just the way that it is. Inside Tracker is another one. Provides comprehensive panels tailored to metabolic health. Super interesting. How it works. Order the kit online, receive it by mail, collect a sample, blood, saliva, or a finger prick, mail it back and get results in a secure online portal. That is super fascinating. I would love to know if any of you have ever done that. Has anybody ever done any of these mail-in type tests? And then, of course, when you start to get your results, that's kind of what I talk about all the time. Insulin resistance is 100% reversible. 100%. So you can go from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive. And I talk about it in terms of 2 things. I always talk about targeted supplementation and trading out your food ingredients. And, I grew up in such a medical world because of my dad. My dad was type 2 diabetic and he was insulin dependent, and he did all of the tests. He did all of the procedures and he did all of the surgeries, and he ended up on kidney dialysis, and then he died at 63. So this is just a very honest conversation that you have to have with yourself as to the progression that you want to take. And I know that there are a lot of you out there that you are, you don't even know where to start. And you're really tired of a lot of the noise or a lot of the information that might kind of be a little trashy. And what I mean by that is this. So I have a friend who she went to, it was 2020, and she's type 2 diabetic, and she went to her diabetic nutritionist, and she said, I'm having a hard time keeping my blood sugars under control. Can you help me? And her diabetic nutritionist said, sure, tell me what you're eating in a day. So she said, I thought I would give her, she said, to be honest, I kind of give her one of my worst case scenario days. I wanted to see what she would say about me really kind of like not paying attention. And so she gave that to her in her view, because she already, when you're type 2 and you are testing your sugars, you already know a little bit about when you're being good and when you're not being good. So she gives her this list and she says, oh, you're totally fine. You can have up to 150 grams of carbs a day. All you have to do is, this is a true story, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Welcome to Minnesota, land of the Mayo Clinic, which means nothing. All you have to do is go from taking this pill to this injection for insulin. That's all you have to do. But you can keep on eating your 150 grams of carbs a day. Now, that is what I mean when I say trash information. That is really, really bad advice. And she left there and she was so angry. She was so mad that that was the answer that she was given. And I don't blame her, right? Because she's like, talk about a drug pusher. Like, she wasn't even taking into account the fact that it's reversible. If nobody has told you, I will tell you, it's reversible. You do not have to listen to only their answers about scripts. But then what do you do about it? Like, why? How do you even begin the process of turning things back around? Well, so for myself, after my dad died when I was in my upper 40s, you don't plan on taking injections. Oh, hold on. I can't read. I'm so sorry, Sophie. Hold on. Oh, good for you. Good for you. So she's down 3K this week. So let's see now in the United States. What is 3K? Good for you, though. You don't plan on taking any injections. That is really amazing. And I feel like that's so important. Like, you have to make those decisions ahead of time, right? So my mom, 6 pounds. Yay, 6 pounds. Way to go, Sophie. That is fantastic. That makes me so happy for you. Keep going. I was in my upper 40s and my mom would not leave me alone about my sugars. And you guys, she was really kind of a pain in my tuchus, if you know what I mean. But I'm super grateful for that, because she made me just scared enough to want to do something about it. And so she was constantly like, Kirsten, seriously, do you even go to the doctor? Why are you not getting your sugars checked? Do you know where your sugars are at? And it was this constant stream of like, because my dad, he had all of it. He had all of the symptoms, the dry mouth, peeing all the time. He had the sores on his legs that were not healing. Like, he was advanced type 2, obviously, because he died at 63. And so inside of that, I, being Italian, was very concerned that I was going to have to like change the way that I ate to the point of hating the food that I ate. And I didn't want to do that. So I started with targeted supplementation. And I'm assuming you're either in the UK or Australia. And so I can only talk about this in terms of United States and Canada. But for those of you that are in the US and Canada, when I talk about supplementation for you guys, this is the reality. I didn't know anything about supplementation. And I do mean I knew nothing. I was the poster child of my idea of a really good time in my 30s was to buy a bag of snack-sized Snicker bars and a very large Sunday newspaper, lay in bed in the afternoon after church, go through all of the paper and the coupons, because this is what my mom did. Every Sunday afternoon, my mom would sit in the living room with her Sunday newspaper. She would feed us like chicken and rice or goulash or something that was really high carb, comfort food. And then she would sit in the living room and read her newspaper, clip her coupons, and take a nap, because she was insulin resistant, so she was exhausted. And then if you asked if you could go play with your friends in the neighborhood, she'd say no, because it's Sunday. So we were going to have a family day, which meant take a nap. And that was my life. So then when I raised my kids, here I am in my 30s. And I'm thinking, well, I'm going to take a nap and I'm going to read the newspaper, the thick Sunday newspaper that you get, cut out my coupons, and I'm going to eat Snickers snack-sized bars. Well, in my 40s, that turned into a really fun reward would be go to the theater, get theater movie popcorn with all of that fake, disgusting butter on it, and eat Milk Duds at the same time, because then you have like chocolate caramel popcorn. Like, who doesn't want that? So that was my idea of fun. And so at that time, when my mom is bugging me about my sugars, I'm going to like Trader Joe's, which is, for anybody who's outside of the US, it's just a little cute grocery store here in the States. And I would get their salt and pepper kettle chips, and then something sweet, like something with caramel. And that was me. As my mom is going, Kirsten, seriously, are you even ever checking your sugars? Are you even ever doing that? So there's a big drinking culture here. And that's how you gained weight. Yes, yes, yes. Your freshman 15 turned into a freshman 50. Yeah. Isn't that just the truth? It's really, and drinking is really like, to me, that's the easiest thing that you can stop doing. That's the first easiest thing you can stop doing if you want to turn something back like this, because drinking will not serve you in this at all. Junior Mints, you were there yesterday. All of the holiday goodies were calling your name. Oh, Carla, I get it. Isn't that crazy? I know. And they're super loud, aren't they? It's kind of like they're yelling your name. Carla! They're not even gentle. They are not gentle Junior Mints, are they? No, they're not. I'm just telling you. I understand how that goes. So basically, when I started to actually do anything, I was kind of scared. So people are like, so what were your numbers? What were your, no. There's no way I was going to go to the doctor. There was no way I was going to find out where I was. I was just super scared. And I was not the believer of knowledge is power. I was more of the belief that ignorance is bliss. I was ignorance is bliss, not knowledge is power. So I did not go. But what I did was I would assess sores on my body to see if they looked like my dad's. I would assess how often I was peeing or drinking water, etc. And during that season, God is so good to me because I was introduced to being able to take supplements like these. These are the trio, the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. So I'm introduced to these and I'm like, okay, cross my fingers. And that literally was my journey because I didn't have knowledge. I'm ignorant, right? I'm living in ignorance, not knowledge. So with no knowledge, I cross my fingers and I start supplementing and I have no idea to the degree that they're going to help my body. They actually, between that and then I finally did choose to change out my foods because you got to stop the pickle, stop what got you into the pickle to begin with. They have fully supported me now in losing 3 sizes in my 50s. But why? Why? Because when your sugar and your insulin is high, you can't lose weight. Can't lose weight. So let's find you a different track to run on. Let's find you a different progression of what you can be doing. And what I teach everybody is like, the reason why, like on TikTok, there's little Christmas lights there, because for me, when I was entering holiday seasons in years past, it would make me nervous. Now, I never told anybody that, but inside I'm like, here we go again. Another season of me just throwing the towel in. And getting to January and hating how bloated I am, hating how I feel like I've gone up a size in my jeans, hating how I just ate everything in sight and I felt like I had no willpower and I just basically am a food loser. Like that is my conversation in my brain. That may not be you at all. And what I didn't realize, because nobody told me this, I had to experience it and then now I pass it on to you, is that we have to get rid of these ideas where everything gets fixed all at once. And if it doesn't get fixed all at once, you are less than, or you are kind of lame. Like everybody else is able to fix it all at once, but not you. That's kind of, think about how dumb that is of thought process in terms of We don't expect that to be true of learning a language or learning. We don't go to college only one day or one semester to get a degree. We have to do it over and over and over again for 4 straight years. Well, it's kind of what I did a little bit with my food. It took me 3 to 4 years. I always tell you guys, I had carb blocker in my pockets. So some of you, I see you add carb blocker onto your orders. I get it. Carb blocker in my pockets for about 3 to 4 years. And I'm not even joking. I would take out my winter coat out of storage or out of a closet in my home, excuse me. And in my pockets, I'd put it away last spring. And now here I've got carb blocker in my pockets. It blocks up to like 500 calories of sugar from entering your bloodstream when you eat. That's what carb blocker is. It's a blocker of the spike. So I did that for a long time because it took me time to assess my journey. But it's the same thing with the holiday season. So here we are, we're 9 days away from Thanksgiving. And maybe you too are wondering, how in the world am I going to even begin to think that my holiday season could be any different? Well, I have an option for you. I have an opportunity for you. And let me just share that with you. On the day after holidays, buying that candy junk half off, such a stupid mindset you were in. Sue, I did the same thing all the time. The walls and the carts filled with all of the candy, and now it's 50% off. Why wouldn't you? And bigger for me, Sue, was after Easter. Because I love Easter candy, even more than I love Christmas candy. But the one thing that when I was young, that I would, like when I was young, maybe 18 or whatever, on my own young, I loved buying the chocolate covered cherries at the drugstore. I could eat like a whole row of those, anyway, and they came out around Christmas time. So that was the Christmas candy that I liked. But yes, that kind of a mindset. But I want to give you a completely different thought process. And this either resonates with you or it doesn't. And that's okay. Because the testimonies, you don't have to take my word for anything. You really don't. Like, seriously. You should listen to everybody else who is giving you the testimonies that do exactly what I did. I just give it to you so that you can rinse and repeat what I did. Okay. So I started with targeted supplementation. This is the trio, the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. Then what I did was I started a Facebook group 18 months ago. It's almost 19. And it's Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And that's why I put this here for you guys on TikTok so that you can see my site down there. And you can it's one page, scroll up, see the Facebook blue button. Every single month, we have been doing a 5-day challenge, and it is to resource you and encourage you. You have to have a community. And it doesn't mean that you have to have the community of all the other women, although everybody is amazing and very encouraging. But you just take on one nugget at a time, one idea at a time, one ingredient at a time, one recipe at a time, one social event at a time. And it adds up. It is called the compound effect. And if you've never read that book, I highly recommend it. The compound effect is where just a little bit every day added up is compounded like interest on your money. Instead of addition, it's multiplication. So I'm teaching targeted supplementation, food ingredient trade-outs, and then a compression of time. So like Terry, I don't know if she's still on here. Oh, thank you, Sue. Full of grace, grit, and no quit. Thank you. I love this shirt too. I got it this summer. Anyway, it called my name. And so Terry, I don't know if she's on here. That's okay if she's not. Started 8 months ago. 8 months ago. She's here. Terry, I'm going to talk about you. But this is so great to me. Like, you guys, sometimes we think, so I'm 59. I'll be 60 in January. And there was a time in my upper 30s where I thought to myself, maybe I'm supposed to just embrace being obese. I don't know if y'all have ever had that thought process at all, but my Italian family filled with type 2 and obesity, I thought, well, maybe that's just like kind of my identity. Like, we're all just, roly-poly. I know that sounds crazy. You might think I'm nuts. That's okay. But then that kind of happened again. I said no at the time. I'm like, no, I don't know how I'm going to fix this, but I'm going to fix this. But then in my 50s, it's so easy to go, well, it's just a part of getting older. Well, my metabolism is slowing down. All of these things. I could never hope for a different size now. I could never hope for whatever. And that is not true at all. If you can understand the concepts of what I'm sharing with you, you can go extremely far. And so when your insulin and your sugar is high and you can't lose weight, you have to change your insulin and your sugars. You have to bring them down. How do you do that? Well, let's talk about supplementation first. Insulin resistant to insulin sensitive. You have trace minerals. You have helping your liver. You cannot metabolize fat if you don't help your liver. You literally can't lose weight if your insulin and sugars are high. You can't lose fat if you don't deal with your liver. And then you have this thing called metabolism. That does need a boost. That does need help. And you can do that. And this little trifecta that I've used now for a little over 10 years, like this isn't, there's no jazz hands on this. This is literally just opening up the hood of your car and having somebody like beef up your engine. Like put fluids in the places that fluids need to be, to stop a leak, to do this, to, like to rev it all up and get it all functioning again. Changing out your oil. That's what this has been doing for me now for a little over 10 years. So then I decided to trade out my foods. Well, this whole process of taking the trio and changing out food ingredients for 8 months, Terry did that. And she just sent me her testimony last week. She's lost 40 pounds, you guys, at our age, in our age group. She's lost 40 pounds in 8 months. She didn't take an injection. I'm just saying, and I'm not dissing on stuff. I'm just telling you some realities. Like, what if they just sell you things that you don't really have to do because you can do things naturally? I thought the injections were like, well, I suppose people can choose that. But then you guys started getting into my inbox and started saying, I don't like this. It makes me nauseous. It makes me constipated. There's this side effect of a paralyzed stomach. Like, I don't like the side effects. How do I do this naturally? Well, this is a natural way to completely change what is going on in your body, going from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive with a different track to run on. So I know that there are many tracks. I know Sue says, well done, Terry. Obesity was a thing in the women in my family. I know. Terry is 62, you guys. 62. We can all do this. Man, Terry, that is fabulous. It is fabulous. It fires me up because I had all of these limiting beliefs at every different age, in my upper 30s, in my upper 40s, now in my upper 50s. Like, it doesn't seem to stop. And why is this such a barrier in our society? And it's just because we've been marketed to and given a lot of really bad information. So we kind of have to scrub that information, like get rid of that information and replace it now with information that says, if we can bring down our sugars and our insulin, and we can stop eating things that are spiking our sugars and calling on more insulin, we can actually begin to lose weight, and we can go become a fat burner in our body instead of a sugar burner. So Sophie says, congratulations. I love that. Is XLS a carb blocker? Tell me, Sophie, what that is, because I don't know. Is that something are you in the UK or Australia? You can tell me like what XLS is, because I don't know what that is. UK. So what is XLS? Because I don't know what that is. That's a really good question, though. But so take off your glasses, not your physical glasses, but take off your glasses and stop viewing weight loss through the lens of what you've been marketed to. You have to wipe the slate. And, I feel like what people like Terry have done is they've decided to go, listen, everything else isn't working. I have to change the lens of which I'm looking at this through. So this whole coming to you from insurance companies, eat less, move more, eat less, move more, BS. I call BS. Does that mean you just have to eat just half your portions? It doesn't matter if it's chicken pot pie, just eat less. Is that working? Did you lose 40 pounds in the last 8 months doing that? See, Sophie, I just don't know what it is. I'm so sorry. But mine is a natural extract that helps to block sugars from entering the bloodstream. So it sounds like they're probably two different products. Very much so. Yours too. Oh, your family too, Terry? See, there's this identity of obesity, isn't there? It's an identity, and like we potentially can choose to embrace it. Oh, so challenging. Isn't that challenging? Oh, I hate that. But those are thoughts that kind of come into our heads, right? So anyway, once you change out the lens, then all of a sudden, okay, it's not just that. Change the lens and then, but aren't for everyone. Okay. Stops fat soluble vitamins as well. Okay. That is not that, Sophie. That would not be the chemistry of what I'm talking about, but that is interesting. So when you decide that you actually want to like change the lens, then the second thing I want you to hear is, okay, so now I'm going to view things through the lens of insulin resistance. So I need to bring down my sugars. I need to bring down my insulin. I need to get my liver up and running because it actually governs my insulin. It actually governs the glucose in my blood. I need to get my metabolism back up and running again because it's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute. So we're going to do that. Then I'm going to trade out my food ingredients. But now what I'm going to do is, yes, everything I eat is going to be through the lens of, is it going to spike my sugars and how high? But I'm going to trade out my ingredients so that I can still be a foodie. Did you know you can still be a foodie? Like, this is such a big deal. Because being Italian, I thought I had to give up everything that was fun. I thought I had to give up everything that was enjoyable. And it's not true. It's not true. You can still be a foodie. You can still love the food that you eat. And this is so much of what I go through every single month in the 5-day challenge. It's free. This content every day at 10 a.m. is free. Central Standard Time, unless I'm traveling. The Facebook group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, it's free content. The challenge is free. We just finished up doing a book club with Self-Sabotage No More. It's free. Jenny Potter, the author of that book, is going to be in the group next Monday night on the 25th of November at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's free. This is a free community. And the pieces that you are investing in, where you are shifting your own investment, is into supplementation and into your choice to trade out your food ingredients in your pantry and your refrigerator. That's what we're doing. Golly, I get so excited. And then Terry also too said that she started using the thermogenic, the blood orange thermogenic, which is the pixie stick. Do I have that on me? I know I just stocked up my little thingamajiggers. This is a blood orange pixie stick. And this actually helps to, this helps with your visceral fat. Very specifically around your waist and your hips. So for me, it's been the narrowing of my hips. For my husband, it has been his love handles. This pixie stick, which tastes like orange candy, I know it sounds crazy. It deals with that visceral fat. And that is a big deal. And so Terry was just saying that she's lost 1 inch in her hips and her waist, I believe is what you said, Terry. It's like you didn't have a clear direction to good health. I did not have a clear direction, Sue. 100%. And Sue, don't worry. I've got you on my list, by the way, from yesterday. So I'll mail you a little card here. And how could I have? Our medical system is designed to give us false assurance that all their scripts will help us while causing more issues with side effects. Man, you are speaking my language. And the conversation was never about good foods. It was all about giving us wrong information to keep us coming back to them. They pushed the food pyramid. Yes, they did. Yep, you got lots of visceral fat to lose. I'll send you a couple there. I'll send you some, Sue. But it's true. And it's because of the powers that be. When you have so much marketing going on, when the actual studies are being paid for by the people who are protecting their own information, we've got a problem there, Houston. We've got a problem. It's literally like Huggies or Pampers sponsoring the study saying that theirs are the best diapers. That's actually, that I remember that being true all of these years ago. Like when I was raising my kids, I remember hearing that thinking, what? Are you crazy? What is that? So if you have the crop industries, the grain industries, the agricultural industries, the United States Department of Agriculture creating your food pyramid, and they tell you that you should eat 9 to 11 servings of grain a day, and then you become obese and type 2. And by the time you're in your 50s, you're told that it's normal to be on 3 to 4 scripts. Have they helped you? Have they done you a good service? Have they served you well by doing that? Did the government help you? Or are you frustrated now? Are you sad? Low blood sugar approaches make more sense. Yep. You have to. Everything that you eat, if you look at it through the lens of what is spiking my sugars, and remember, we spike sugars. Insulin is a hormone. It's like the delivery truck. So the delivery truck goes to grab the glucose to put it into a storage unit, because the storage unit is where you have stored energy. But if the lock is broken, if the door is jammed and the cell says no, are you tracking? Then there's all this extra glucose in the blood. Type 2 diabetes is what happens. And there's all this extra inflammation from the insulin. And all that extra glucose gets turned into fat. Why? Because insulin is a fat storing hormone. That's what its job is. Oh, we've got all this extra glucose. What should we do with it? Oh, we got to put it somewhere. Got to deal with it. Okay, fat it is. Fat it is. In between the, your knees, on your back, on your belly. Usually it's your belly. On your arms, right here. It's going to store your fat. That's what it does. Sweeteners, yes, but I don't know off the top of my head. So I would have to check that. But yes. But I'm a huge proponent of allulose, stevia, monk fruit, erythritol, huge proponent. And I know that if people go carnivore, they don't. I get it. But most of us are in transition mode. And allulose, interesting side note, allulose is, the studies of allulose are actually showing, and I assume it's not paid for by allulose, the plant or whatever, it's a plant sweetener, lowering blood sugar, actually making your blood sugar better. Isn't that crazy? Who knew that? But anyway, allulose is an excellent sweetener. So that's why you have to have a different track to run on. So when Sue says that I didn't have a clear direction to good health, and how could I? Because the medical system is designed to give us false assurance. 100%. But that's what happened to me after my dad died. And I looked and I just, like, in my brain, I'm like, but he was on all those meds. Like, those were supposed to help him. And I don't get it. Like, why didn't they? So that's when I kind of had to dig into my own research. And I realized eventually, took me a while because I'm a little slow to the party. Took me a while to realize, yeah, you know what? They have you on a carousel. And every time you go around the carousel, they've got the answer for what they're creating. So if they're giving you, nutrition advice, and the nutrition advice is not good enough to really quite help you, so that they can put you on a script, and then the script is causing maybe more nutritional deficiencies in your gut, and then you've got, you need those to be shored up, and then they're creating symptoms in your world, and those symptoms are maybe indigestion or bloating, or you're exhausted because you're leaching nutrients or whatever. Then they get you into the cycle of testing for every single autoimmune, conversation. They get you in this, it's literally a carousel that goes round and round and round, and it keeps you spinning, and it keeps you very frustrated. And if we would just back up like 3 feet, take 3 giant steps backwards and go, hold on. My body was actually created to function. Why isn't it functioning? I was not born with a genetic defect. I was not born with a leaky gut. I was not born with a deficiency of any of these scripts. What is going on? And the common denominator that we all have is the food that we eat. The food pyramid needs to be flipped upside down. So the track that I give people is targeted supplementation with, I just had like fireworks on Instagram. That's so funny. Targeted supplementation. Let's get that. That's the easiest thing you can do right off the bat. This is easy. Targeted supplementation is easy. I know it might not feel easy because I was not a supplementer either. I took ibuprofen and Metabolife, which got banned. That's its own story. But I'm telling you, but that is, in the end, if you really look at it, that's the easiest thing. The hardest part is right here. Yeah, get off the crazy carousel ride. I know. It's a little harder for your mind and a little harder for your heart. So we have to walk that process. Okay, whatever. Time's going to pass anyway. So targeted supplementation. Let's trade out your food ingredients. You can get into the group. Let me teach you. You'll have another challenge in December. Then you can nail December. You have so much time right now. You literally could grab Carb Blocker today and navigate your Thanksgiving. You could literally start the trio right now and be ready for the challenge in December. You could be like navigating, probably the next biggest conversation is the gut primer. You could be doing a gut reset right now and completely changing the way that you do your holidays, moving along that impacted waist, shoring up that leaky gut, helping out your metabolism and your liver and all of those things so that on January 1, you stick your gymnastic landing on January 1. You don't have to belly crawl into January hating what you've done for the last 45 days. Because how far are we from January? 31, 40, yeah, probably right around 45 days, probably a little less. So it's coming up really fast. But what if you navigated your holidays completely differently? And some of you are going to be like, so I always tell people, you can always ask me for a cart. You can ask me for a customized cart. Now, if you're on the live Instagram and TikTok, like it goes away when the live is done. So you have to get into my inbox. But Facebook, you can always leave messages or get into my messenger. And this is what happens every day. Somebody will message me and say, I need a cart. Will you get me a cart with the trio? Will you get me a cart with the trio and the gut reset, the primer and a probiotic? Will you get me a cart with the trio and the that fat burner thing, that orange stick? Will you get me a cart with anything that I talk about? Just ask me. I'll put it together for you and help you customize it. And if there's anything in there that you don't need, let's not do it. Because if you need to start small so that you can prove to yourself some consistency, let's start small. Okay? If you're like, listen, I'm already taking stuff and it's not working, so I need to actually target what I'm doing instead of just, I saw this Facebook ad and then there was this Amazon find and then my girlfriend down the street is taking this. I just started taking a little bit of everything that everybody was telling me to take. And now I want to be like, I'm going to target, like pull back my arrow and target insulin resistance. I'm going to target any nutritional deficiencies. I'm going to target like dealing with my gut finally. I mean, your gut makes your GLP-1. So let's just boost your gut processes. I'm going to target my internal organs, my internal metabolic processes, instead of just throwing whatever at the wall and having a supplement cupboard that looks like your makeup cupboard. Like, let's not do that anymore. You're so challenged during the season. You've discovered so much about yourself. I love that, Carla. Staying plugged in helps me stay focused, determined, and learning. Doggone it, the food noise. Starting over each time I fall until I have this 100%. Keeping things, myself, all about me for a change. Love being here Terry inspired me today, and so did you. So happy to be here. I'm so glad, Carla. And you've got to stop being unkind to yourself. And that's not just for you. That's for all of us. It's actually a skill. If you can step back and take emotion out of the conversation, which is, okay. So when we went through the book, Self-Sabotage No More, she's talking about dealing with your unprocessed emotions. Most of them, they come from your childhood. Okay. So you do have to deal with your unprocessed emotions. But now here's just another tool thought process. When I started to go through my journey of assessing what are the foods that I like to eat? What is it about that social event that makes me nervous? What is it about the food noise that, whatever. Okay. Doing all of that. I stepped back and I took emotion out of the conversation in my head. And I started to look at things like a third party, kind of like a scientist. And a scientist doesn't have emotion about what's happening in the petri dish. A scientist isn't emotionally connected to, if I combine this with this and it becomes this. So I became detached in my ability to assess. I stopped beating myself up. And I started asking more questions of myself, not in a shameful way. And this is why I did it inside of my head, because I didn't want anybody else's judgment of what I was thinking or feeling. You're not helping me. If you're like, well, what do you think that for? Well, why do you believe that? That's dumb. No, you now no longer have a voice in my life. Well, I just don't understand that. I'm never emotionally attached to food. Well, bully for you. Good for you. Go celebrate. That's not me. And so all of that negativity and that BS had to go away. But then I had to make sure I was stopping it for myself too. Okay. So I became very third party in my head alone. It was just me and Jesus dealing with all of this. And I guarantee you 100%, Jesus is not shaming you because you don't have willpower. That's not who he is. FYI. Spoiler alert. So I began to just ask myself those simple questions, and maybe yours are different. I really did have to decide, do I just really love all food? Why did that make me nervous when I didn't have that in the house anymore? Why do I feel like such a draw to go buy that? What is it that I'm really want? What's the flavor that I'm really looking for? How can I deconstruct that flavor? Perfect example. The beginning of this live, I talked about being on a road trip this last weekend, and my son-in-law stopped at a gas station in the middle of the night, picked up these huge honking glazed donuts with maple icing on them, and then I passed them back to my daughter. So I opened it up and because they smell so good, and then I handed them to my daughter. Because this is what I'm going to do now. I'm deconstructing the flavor that I want. I love maple. I love maple candy. I love maple syrup. I'm like Elf. Like, give me maple. I love maple. Well, my mom used to buy like these maple candies when I was a little girl. There's probably a connection there, etc. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go take my Maria Emmerich egg white bread recipe, and I'm going to make it into little blobs on my parchment paper. I'll put a little well in there, and then inside the well, you could look this up on Maria Emmerich's website, mariamindbodyhealth.com or ketomaria.com, and put in danishes. And then I'm going to make a custard, which is like a egg yolks and cream cheese and sweetener, whatever, and I'll put that in the middle. I will put them in the oven. I may even put maple extract in the dough. It's probably what I'm going to do. Let's just be honest. I'm going to put maple extract in the dough, in the batter. It's not really a dough. It's a egg white fluffiness, more of a meringue. And then I'm going to make a maple icing glazing to go on top. I'm going to make my own. And I'm going to have what I love. There's no cheating in that. There's no shame in that. Like I'm deconstructing and recreating according to what it is that I want. Does that make sense? So at some point, you get to like decide that you're going to say no to the food pushers, even if that's yourself. But then on the other hand, when you make decisions that you make, like maybe instead of eating 3 pieces of pie, you have 1. And for you, that's a bet that maybe that was and don't use that as an excuse now. Don't do that. But I'm just telling you, there's a progression sometimes, depending upon where you are with the emotional connection with food. Or maybe you're like, I know that pumpkin pie is like my kryptonite. I am actually going to take the time on Sunday night to make my own pumpkin pie or to make my own pumpkin roll. Whatever it is for you, you are going to have to put forth the effort to find the trade out. And maybe before you go to the house, you're eating your own pumpkin pie, or maybe you're bringing it with you. Or maybe while you're there, you're like, it's all good. Yep, I can feel that that's a strong pull to that pumpkin pie, but I know what's in my fridge when I get home, and I'm good. I can do this. Do you understand? Like, you can create your own progression of help for yourself. And if it's not perfect this season, man, what's it going to be like by the time you hit Christmas next year? I think Terry's probably going into this season pretty confident this year. Is it perfect? I don't know. Took me years to get to the point where I really don't. There's nothing that I care about. Like, I'll just bring my own stuff. I brought a coconut cream pie to Easter. Everybody wanted my coconut cream pie. It was keto. It was really good. I don't make up the recipe, so I can say how good it is. I'm not bragging on myself. Just saying. Smarter choices, yet not living in deprivation. Don't live in deprivation of food noise. I know, but you know what? I just want you to know you are not battling that food noise forever. Maybe that's what people need to hear today. The food noise doesn't stay as noisy forever. The more you build up the tools in your toolbox, the more you trade out your food and you start to not care as much. The more you stay the course, the longer you stay the course, you literally shift your own taste buds. You shift your own mindset. And the food noise, it's kind of like the gremlin kind of gets a dome on it. And it gets quieter and quieter and quieter. Because now you're more confident. This is about your confidence. You're more confident in your ability to trade out ingredients. You're more confident in your ability to try a new recipe. You don't feel so overwhelmed. Maybe this is your first year of trading things out, and there are 20 foods that you absolutely freak out about and you adore. And maybe you can really you only have enough brain space to think about trading out 2 of them for yourself, meaning, and I don't even mean you're making them all. I mean, like, you're going to this party and this person makes this bar, and then you're going to this holiday and this person makes the most amazing mashed potatoes you've ever had. And then you're going to this, but I mean, because it's a continual cycle, right? And maybe this year you have to pick 1 or 2 things in your brain that you're like, oh, I just love 7-layer bars more than life itself. This is me, by the way. I think 7-layer bars are the most magical thing in the world. And you go online and you Google keto 7-layer bar, and you make your own 7-layer bar, and you keep a pan of that in your fridge for the next 45 days. I mean, are you going to lose weight doing that? Probably not. It might stall your weight a little bit, but I mean, it's not, but you're not feeding the sugar monster that is keeping you in this craving. And then there's this biological response. And slowly over time, it all starts to quiet down. I just want you to know that, like, this, you don't have to learn to be tolerant to high food noise. And then it stays that way all the time. Forever. And you just have to, like, white knuckle it and buckle up, and you got to do this forever. And you're just going to get used to fighting the food noise. No, the food noise actually goes, it actually comes down. It goes away. That should give everybody hope. It's not that way forever. It's just that you're transitioning from a lifelong habit and tasting of to something different. And then all of a sudden you start to, oh, but I'm craving that. Oh, I actually want that. Oh, That was actually an easy recipe. I wasn't even thinking about it. And I like bought that ingredient instead of that ingredient. Well, look at there. That's what happens. Just telling you. Your kitchen cupboards and fridge and freezer look different than 6 months ago. Yes! Sue! Yes, yes, yes. Goodbye bad food ingredients. Goodbye plastics. Now living in an increased state of peace, less stress. Thank you, Jesus. Yes, 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 yes. Terry, making a plan for Thanksgiving. Traditional foods my family wants me to make and a keto versions of your favorites. Oh, it's just music to my ears, Terry. Because I'm telling you, you can literally enjoy all of your family. You can enjoy all of the foods that you love. You can decide all of the foods that you were eating that you actually kind of didn't like anyway. Like for me, it's green bean casserole. Like, why would I even try to recreate it? I actually don't care. So why am I thinking that I have to eat my green bean casserole? Like, it's disgusting to me now. But at the time I want the creamed corn and I want the green bean casserole and I want the stuffing and I want this and I want that because I love all food, right? Come to find out, I don't love all food. I just really flip out about a few things. And those few things I'm going to recreate and have them around me. Bye, Terry. Have a fantastic day. Thanks for jumping on. You're amazing. Thank you for being such an inspiration for so many people. So that is kind of the whole idea. So whatever you need today, Sue's laughing at me. Whatever you need today, reach out to me, okay? If you need a different track to run on, don't self-sabotage your own efforts to move forward. Don't do that, okay? Don't do that. So if you are a new customer that needs to, like, you need to start something new, I want to be able to become a new customer, and I want to be able to send you samples of the blood orange fat burner. Okay, that's what I want to do. As a new customer, if you are a current customer that has an amazing testimony and you tell people about this, I am giving out gift cards for referrals of customers that make purchases. And then if you are somebody who has such a great testimony, you want to send me the testimony like Terry did, I am going to put you in a hat for a drawing. So we have a lot of really good things going on. The more people that we can get on a good track to run on between now and the end of the year, the more people that will go into January with like momentum and a fired up hope for 2025. Turning back your sugars, turning back your insulin, dropping your weight, doing the things that are so necessary so that you don't have severe health issues that come from unchecked insulin resistance. So it's very important to me. And I know it's important to you. Otherwise, you would never be on my content because why would you bother? So you should pat yourself on the back for even spending time listening to information that has to do with getting yourself better. Like you should be proud of yourself because somebody else is just binging on Netflix and eating salt and pepper kettle chips from Trader Joe's. You just referred 2 friends yesterday, Pam and Amber. Hopefully they are watching Learning Today. Wonderful. Sue, let me know make sure you connect with me. If you know that one of your friends bought something, make sure you tell me, okay? Because I have a lot going on. Like, I'm just saying, like, don't feel bad that you have to remind me of something. Like, just, it's okay. You just have to let me know because I want to make sure I do connect it to the right people. But thank you, Sue. I appreciate that more than you know. Because the truth is that this is no joke. This is not jazz hands. Like, come on, everybody, we're just going to magically lose weight and feel great. And like, no. This is literally about taking back your health so that you can either avoid scripts or get off of scripts so that you can actually not have the detrimental effects of long-term high blood sugars, etc. My dad died at 63, type 2 diabetes. My mother ended up with dementia. It's directly related. And I'm telling you, dementia sucks bad. It sucks bad. And guess what? Just because you have dementia doesn't mean you don't know something's wrong with you. What I lived with my mom for 5 years, I will do anything. And everybody needs to understand the connections that they won't tell you about. Just telling you. You referred Michelle. Suzette, thank you for telling me. Thank you for telling me. Okay, I'm going to write that down. Hold on. Okay, perfect. All right. Thanks, you guys. I'm going to write that down, Suzette, right now. All right. I've got business to take care of then now, don't I, people? And I will pay attention, Sue, for Pam and Amber. I'm going to write it down because otherwise I'll forget. Pam and Amber. That's exciting. And again, people can ask me questions. Don't just take my word for anything. You have to have a wonderful day, Carol. Love you guys. You're amazing. Don't take my word for it. Listen to the other testimonies because those are actually what count. So just telling you. And Suzette. Perfect. Yay. All right. Have a wonderful day, you guys. And I will see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll have another really great conversation. So see you guys later.